I just want to start off by saying if you want an answer at the end, prepare to be disappointed. There isn't one. I was in interning at Nickelodeon Studios for year 2005. My degree in animation. It wasn't paying, of course. Most interns weren't, but it did have some perks beyond education to adults. It might not seem like a big one, but most kids all this time would go crazy over it. Now, since I worked directly with editors and animators, I got to the new episodes days and before they're aired. I'll I'll get right to it without giving too many unnecessary details. They have recently made SpongeBob movie. The entire staff somewhat sapped of creativity, so it took them long and start up to the season. But the delay lasted longer by more than upsetting reasons. There was a problem with the series 4 premiere that set everything back for several months. Me and my two other interns were editing along with the lead animation. The seven editors of Final Cut received a copy of supposed to be a beer of a Krabby Patty and gather the screen to watch. Now it wasn't final. Yeah, animators often put a mock gift title card inside the joke for us. SpongeBob Patrick adopted C. Scallop. No, I wish upon titles how sex doesn't work instead of rockabye when SpongeBob Patrick adopted C. Scallop. Nothing went to parsley and chuckles. So we went and saw the title card called Squidward Suicide or The Red Mist. We didn't think it was more of a joke. One intern said a small one laughed at it. Happy go lucky play music plays as it's more normal. The story began with Squidward practicing his clarinet, hitting a few sour notes like normal. We we hearing SpongeBob outside and Squidward stops, yelling at him, "Keep it down!" And as he has a concert has tonight and needs to practice. SpongeBob says okay, and goes to Sandy's house with Patrick. See Sandy with Patrick. The bubbles splash and scream as we see the ending of Squidward's concert. This is when things begin, scenes off. While playing, the few friends have repeated themselves, but some doesn't. At this point, we sense of the animation, so yes, that's not common. But he stops playing. The sound finishes. A skip never happened. The mumbling the crowd began to boo him. Not the normal boo, but booing's common in the show. But you can very clever. You clearly hear making this in it. Squidward spray full frame looks visually afraid. The shot goes to the crowd with SpongeBob in the center frame. He looks too booing, very much unlike him. That isn't the oddest thing, though. Was odd is everyone had hyper-realistic guys had detail clearly, not the shots of real people's eyes, but the some more like real than CGI. Those peoples are red, and some of us look at each other, obviously confused. But since there weren't writers, we question to April the children yet. The screen slowly begins to zoom in onto his face. By the show I mean, it was only noticeable if you look at the shots 10 seconds apart by side. His sobbing gets louder, more full hurts and anger. The screen twitches a bit as if it twists on itself for a split second, then it back to normal. The wind through the trees gets very slowly louder and more survey. If a storm is brewing somewhere, the eerie part of the sound, and Squidward sobbing, sounded real, and it said the sound came from the speakers, but the speakers are holds the sounds. It was coming through the other side. As good sound studio they don't purchase the equipment to be good. That was glee in the quality. Below the sound of the wind and sobbing, very faint. Something sounded like laughing. It came from intervals and never lasted more than a second. So you had a hard time pinning it. We watched this show twice, so pardon me if things were sounding too suspicious, but I've had time to think about them. After 30 seconds, the screen blurred and twitched violently, and something flashed over the screen, as if a single frame was replaced. The LED animation editor paused and around frame by frame. Stuff what was saw was horrible. It was a dark photo of a dead child. He couldn't have more than 6. The face was mangled and bloodied. One eye dangling over his upturned face popped. He was naked down in his underwear, his stomach crudely cut open, and entrails laying beside him. He was laying on some pavement that was probably a road. Most the upsetting part was the showing of photographer. There was no crime tape, no evidence tags or markers. The angle was completely off for Sean for it to be evidence. It would be seen the photographer who was the person responsible for a child's death. We were, of course, mortified but pressed on, hoping that was just a sick joke. The screen flipped back to Squidward, still sobbing, and louder than before, and the half body in the frame. There was now what appeared of blood running down his face from his eyes. The blood was also done in a hyper-realistic style. Look, if you touch the screen, you get his blood on your fingers. Sound wounded now. If there was, that is a gale blowing through the forest. There were even snapping sounds of branches, laughing, a deep barrier, lasted at longer intervals, and coming more frequently. After about 20 seconds, the screen again twisted and showing the single frame photo. The editor was go back, but he knew what to do. This time the photo showed like to be appear a little girl, no older than the first child. She was lying on her stomach in was in a pool of blood next next to her. Her left eye was popped out and popped, and naked exceptions for underpants. The entrails, her entrails, were pulled on top of her, and another crude cut back along her back. Again, the body was on the street. Photographer was visible, very similar in size and shape and burst. I choked back vomit, and entering, but the female in the room ran out. The show resumed.